Welcome back to my Dungeon Boss campaign series. This is Chapter 12, Part 2. We're picking up on the number 4 dungeon checkpoint. We're going to do 4, 5, and 6 of Chapter 12 and then move on to Chapter 13. So, level scaling, it did increase by 1 as I expected. So it's kind of been 2 levels per chapter, but not quite always. But as far as the overall heroes go, green and blue, so we have level disadvantage, or rather elemental disadvantage with these green guys attacking our blue guys. But they're 1-starred except for the boss. I know this guy here, he's likely going to have the thick skin trait, so he's probably going to be a long drawn out fight. Other than that, I'm not really concerned about any of these other guys, so we're going to keep our same team and just burn right through it. If we have problems with it, we can always switch out and bring in another fire hero. I don't know that we'll necessarily even need a tank, so we can always bring someone else in, like Nitpick or even a non-red like Augustus for extra heals as well as just extra damage. Alright, I don't expect the blue guys to kill these guys, but I guess these guys are weak, so they go down. So, not a lot of room for AoEs at this point here. I'll use it here just because I'm pretty sure cures will come back up, and they're armored, so they're going to take a little bit more damage, or take a little bit less damage. We'll have hopefully Grognog finish those guys off, but alright. Probably gonna throw a taunt up in the next room. If I do that, it may just finish up for the boss room. See how strong these guys actually are. Alright, that should work pretty good. So we'll taunt them. William will probably kill him, which he did. We'll just mass attack him. And then we're going to do some auto attacks here. The only thing about the auto attack is they were just wasted on that stupid Evo. I was going to say if I had a samurai myself, I could have just attacked him, but I ended up wasting a couple attacks. So taunt is definitely going to be down for the boss room, but I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. I'm more concerned about what Yasmin's going to do with her health. And actually, they rallied back quite a bit here, despite taking some early damage. But I think taunt is still going to expire. They both expired, actually. And actually, that's probably good because I don't want him focusing all of his attacks. And he's got regenerate every turn. He doesn't have thick skin, though. Thick skin might be a different guy in challenge mode that I was thinking of. But believe me, thick skin kind of sucks. It's kind of like Furnace's Abs of Steel, where they can really only lose so much health at a time. I'm going to do this just to be on the safe side. I don't want him doing like a triple splash, which I think is his primary skill. And these guys have a tendency to pick on the weakest people. Alright, he doesn't look overly tough, so I'm going to throw up a taunt when I get it and then just auto attack, and I think he'll die pretty easily. So he doesn't have challenge accepted or anything like that, so like I said, it's just basically a war of attrition here, because he's one of those guys. He doesn't even have the thick skin. I mean, he's technically armored. He doesn't look armored, but you know, he takes a lot less damage. But it doesn't look like he had really any special moves, either that or they all have massive cooldowns. I would usually expect to see like a triple slam or like a forearm shiver or something like that. I guess we got to soak it. Taunt isn't going to be back up anyway, so Skullcracker, same thing as a triple slam basically. Why they call it different things, I don't know. makes more sense at Skullcracker for somebody like Abigail. Makes more sense when they actually have a weapon. His isn't really a weapon. Gems and a cheap rune. 2-star life rune, nothing great. Alrighty. Now let's see what we're in store for. Zerk. Warrior Village, bunch of yellows, and those green guys. Again, those green guys didn't hurt us at all. Just a triple boss, actually. Same basic principle. Not overly threatened by that. Five-room dungeon, so we'll probably AoE on the first turn. Let's not. I feel like there's going to be a 5-person room next. This guy's here so weak that it hardly warrants using. Actually, I shouldn't have did that. I should have let William or Yasmin kill him, then Grognak could have stomped on the other guys. There's the forearm shiver I was talking about before. That actually kind of sucks because he's going to... I wish I could just like pass. If there's ever a option where you could just not attack and go into defense mode, that would be a great addition to this game. Because there's certain instances where you don't want to attack, where you want to buff for the next room. I think that would be an excellent mechanic if you could just go into defense mode. Because then that would allow me to go into defense. Then I could go into Yasmin and I could cleanse that stupid daze. But now he's going to kill this guy. And then the AoE that I wanted to do on the next room wouldn't be worth doing because of the daze. There's 4 guys, not 5, so that's fine. Well, at least he hit. So I'll just do this one instead. It's got a pretty mega cooldown, but I guess that's what we got to deal with. So, if anybody ever consults with developers, or in the off chance that a developer ever watches this channel, add in a defense mechanic, because I think it would be pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to taunt then, since we're going to start taking some damage here. We don't want to spread out that damage too much. Let's focus it on William and protect the weaker heroes. And William doesn't really need to attack, so the fact that he gets dazed is not really an issue. That worked out pretty well. So I thought we had a triple boss, but we really don't. I thought maybe these guys were going to be just little ads on the actual boss fight, but I guess they were pre-boss, if you will. Would have made more sense or more challenging to just put them with this guy. Rikishi. So any fans of the WWE would remember Rikishi from about, I would say, 15 years ago. He was pretty cool. He was part of Too Cool, actually. I know it may seem kind of sad that I know that, but I will admit that I used to watch some wrestling in my day. Alright, health-wise, we're pretty much set. I can't really kill anybody, I don't think. I could kill one guy with Guardian Strike and then hope things don't go south. It's probably better that he picked Grognak, because I know Grognak can soak that damage. We're going to have Taunt coming up next, so this one is all but over. So it may have cost 7 stamina to do, but it certainly wasn't any more difficult than any of the other dungeons. So it's just a typical 7 stamina finale of a dungeon, I guess. So he might have more skills, but with the taunt up, I think Yasmin's just going to keep healing him. Unless he had some other debuffs to go with that shock. I mean, the shock isn't going to be too detrimental because there's no other status ailments like poison or burn or anything. I mean, it looks worse than it is. I was kind of hoping for a revamp on shock so that it did more damage. It's not utilized enough at high levels I think it would be a really great PvP mechanic, but that's a battle for another day. Overall, though, nothing in Chapter 12 was overly difficult. If you have pretty much any 3-star heroes and a healer and a taunt, I think you're going to be able to get through it pretty easily. So I think Yasmin and William are going to carry you through most dungeons, unless you have an all-blue team going against an all-green dungeon. That's the only instance where I feel like maybe Yasmin, William, and 2 other blues isn't going to be good. Oh, I guess I miscalculated. I thought that was the last dungeon, but it's actually not. So maybe we have somebody that could give us a run for our money. Bunch of elite level heroes here, so I don't know why I thought the last one was the last dungeon, maybe just because it felt like it was dragging on, but alright, so here we go. 3-room dungeon. Hopefully this is a nice quick one. I am going to use my AoE here. I don't want those bats attacking me, and plus I got that Alex to contend with. So we will do the typical taunt and auto attack. If we get a couple of crits on this guy, perhaps the taunt will be up going into the boss room, but really the only purpose of the taunt here is to make sure the bats don't kill you. Because they have elemental advantage against Kira, we always run the risk of him getting hit if we don't kill the entire group of them. Got a crit, but it didn't take him down. Alright, that should be good enough to preserve the taunt here. And no bats to worry about. I can't taunt, so I'm just going to be auto-attacking anyways, so there's nothing I can really do other than heal on the next turn. Which I am actually going to do just to be safe. And then I'll kill the top guy. And then if everything goes well, we can taunt. Actually, I'm not taunt or Guardian Strike. That's a tough decision. I think taunt's better because I don't need taunt for more than 1 turn. Whereas Guardian Strike, I'll want to do that on. I want to have that for as much of the boss dungeon as possible. Whereas the taunt is only to get by the first turn in case there's any fast heroes in there. That's really the only reason for the taunt. Which it does not look like there is. Unfortunately, I have my AoEs up, so I don't anticipate this being overly difficult. Although this is definitely a, well, it looked like it was a tougher boss room than it was, because there's 4 elite level bosses, or at least 1 elite level boss and a couple little lesser elites, or maybe 1 champion and 3 elites. I don't know what you actually want to classify them as. Alright, we'll Guardian Strike him and hopefully kill him. And then we just auto attack. I don't see any. Yeah, this one, kind of like what I was saying before, there's nothing in this chapter that was overly difficult. Obviously, runes make a big difference playing through campaign now than it did a year ago before runes were out. You actually had to try a little bit harder and have a little bit more levels behind you as well. But runes have definitely changed the scope of the game, and I think they're going to make challenge mode a little bit easier as well. So, take a quick glimpse into Chapter 13, which has recommended level 34, so that's going to come up in a couple of days probably. The star level on the enemies is not any better or worse than it has been, so we're assuming level 34 and 35. So after we finish 13, I think we'll actually finish 14, and then we'll come back out and look at challenge mode. This challenge mode, I think, has a recommended 35. It has a recommended of 34, but it's going to go 34 and 35. We have a lot of 3-star heroes in there. It's going to be tough to deal with, especially with my team that I'm running now. If I run those taunts against 3-star greens, that's going to be pretty tough. So we'll play that by ear and see where it goes. I may not start challenge mode until maybe closer to 40 when I feel like I have a little bit more strength behind me. But until then, thanks for watching. We'll see you back in a couple levels for stage or chapter 13. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. If you like this video, please show your continued support by hitting that like button, and be sure to check out both my YouTube channels for new content all the time. And always remember, peace is a lie, there's only passion. We'll see you next time.